So the first thing I do every year, and I don't do this solo, but I do it first by myself, is I just review the year before. I get a cup of coffee, I get a piece of paper. I don't have any prompts or anything. I like these old parchmenty leather bound journals you find at like little mom and pop bookstores. Like that's what I like to write on because it makes me feel like I don't know, like Merlin writing down my notes or something about King Arthur. I got the hiccups. I'm going to hiccup through this podcast. I ain't going to stop. Nothing's going to stop me. But I get a piece of parchment and a coffee, and I just write down all the things I'm proud of that I did. I think it's really important on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and an annual basis to give yourself some freaking credit. Life is hard. You made it. You're alive. The sun came up today, man. Give yourself some credit of the last year. You deserve credit, man. You survived. Maybe you thrived, right? Maybe you're getting revived, but you made it to the end of the year. So I always give myself credit first. And I find when I give myself credit for doing good things and accomplishing things and achieving things, that I reveal as I watch these things appear on the page, I can say, oh man, we hit 7 figures this month. What made us do that? That's cool, man. I deserve some credit for that. Like, how did we do that? And I look back and I find 2 or 3 nuggets of what worked. I can figure out and kind of deconstruct how we made things happen. Our podcast had the most downloads ever in a year. Woohoo! How did that happen? What did we do differently? And I start deconstructing all the things that worked, right? And again, my goal is never to focus on outcomes. I look at the outcome and I figure out the components that made the outcome happen, and that becomes new goals, right? That becomes what we want to happen. I'll talk more about that at the end of this little segment here, okay? So that's the first thing I do. And then I look back and I'm like, okay, I have to look at what went wrong. I have to look at what failed. I have to look and see the things I didn't do so good. And I have to be honest with myself. And I know this is hard for some people because we get stressed out about things that go wrong. And like, maybe it makes us feel bad, but like, this is part of the journey, man. It's okay. You're human. You messed up a lot. So did everyone else. They don't post it on Instagram and they don't post it on Twitter, but it's okay to look back at what you did, quote unquote, wrong. I love the mentality of having, all things that happen are just things that happened. They're neither good nor bad. They're really just things that happened. And as we get into patterns of things that happen, they'll eventually become habits. So do my habits that I'm creating through my actions actually become productive, right? Are they good for me? Are they good for my family? Are they good for the people that I serve on my team, in my community? Like, are these habits effective or not? And being for the common good. If they're not, I probably need to change the habits. It's not really good or bad. It's just like, what outcomes are my habits producing? So I look back at what the bad things were, and then I deconstruct it the same way. And I say, well, why did we have that terrible sales month? Why did that week go bad? Why did I have turnover? Why did 2 people quit? Right? Did I do something? Was something I could have controlled? Do I have a better habit here? What happened there? And I can deconstruct that. So going into the new year, I can say, oh, look at all these amazing things that happened. And here's why they happened. I need to do more of that. I need to make those some habits. Oh, look at all these things that were terrible. They sucked. It was bad. I want those things to suck less until they don't. And I just want to get to a point where they don't suck at all. Nothing's bad. Right. That's what I look at. And I look at that and I say, I'm not going to do those things anymore. So really deconstruct in an honest way what worked and then what went bad. You got to be able to evaluate yourself that way. And then as I move into away from the mindset stuff and I move away from habits and things that happen, I start straight up, man. I'm a business owner. I'm an online entrepreneur, and I'm a good one. And all good entrepreneurs start with the funnel. It all starts with the funnel, y'all. You got to go through your funnel, man. You got to understand, how do you get people from discovery to purchase to success? Like, you've got to understand that. If you're going to make money online, if you're going to have your own business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to have your funnel dialed in. You got to at least know what you want to do, even if you don't know if it will work. I don't always know if a funnel that I create works. I don't always know if the thing that I think is going to get people from discovery to success is going to work. But guess what? I got to at least know what I'm going to try. So I start every year with the funnel. What's the funnel that we want to create this year? What's the funnel that we want to do? Do we want new products? Do we want to keep selling the old products? Do we need to build something that we've never built before? Do we want to change directions? Do we want to pivot? Do we want to stay the course? Do we want to start laying railroad tracks? Or do we want to start rolling out some new blacktop on another direction? Right? That's what you got to do in the beginning of the year. You got to understand if you're going to do that. So I always start with my funnel. So if you're an online entrepreneur, if you want to be an online entrepreneur, maybe you already have something that's working. We need to talk about that. Maybe this is the year. This is your year to finally go out there and say, I've been listening to the Flip Lifestyle podcast for months, years. I've never done anything. I'm sick of hearing about these hundreds of other people who are finding success online. I want to become one of them. I need to build something this year. You start with the funnel. That's what you start with. Okay. So here's how I go. I got some questions that I ask myself. So I'm going to share these top secret. Don't you love it when marketers say that the secret that no one else has ever figured out? Actually, this is what pretty much all my successful friends do too. But I'm sharing it with you today. These are the top secrets from the inner sanctum mastermind of the 15th level of the Mount Olympus. That's what I'm sharing with you today. I just want you to know how top secret this is. Okay, it's not top secret. If it was top secret, I wouldn't tell you. But so I'm letting these out. These are my secret questions that I use to evaluate my funnel and thus evaluate my multi-million-dollar online business every year. Okay, so the first thing I do is, I just say, how do we get traffic now, and how do we want to get traffic next year? Okay. So that's the first question you got to ask. Like, if you're a business owner and you're online and you want people to find you, you want people to discover you, you have to understand how people find you. How do you get traffic? Like there's a lot of different ways to get traffic. There's 1,000 different ways to get traffic. So there's no right or wrong answer to this question necessarily. The only right answer is, did traffic come to your website? Did people discover your brand? Or did they not? And the only way to know that is to go try a traffic source. But if you say Facebook ads are the best traffic, great, they are. If you say YouTube channels are the best traffic, great, they are. If you say writing a book, being a speaker, going on social media, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever you say is the best traffic for you, you could try it, and if it works, it works. Okay. I know millionaires that do traffic on TikTok. I know millionaires that do traffic on YouTube. I know millionaires that do traffic with Facebook ads. I knew millionaires that just do relationship marketing. That's it. That's all they do. So I know millionaires who go speak on stages 30 times a year, and that's how they get traffic back to their website. So the first question you should ask at the beginning of the year is, how am I going to get people to find me? Okay. And then make a call on what you're going to go all in on. That's what we do. So last year, I would say that we went all in on speaking. Speaking's how people are going to do it. I spoke in stadiums as big as like 8,000 people in an arena, right? Like a basketball arena, watching me speak last year. And, that was cool. That was great. It was a great traffic source. It was fun. It's what I wanted to do last year. I'll probably keep doing that, but I want to, as I was sitting down thinking about this, I started saying, well, how do I want to build traffic? Well, one way I really want to build traffic is I want affiliates. I love affiliates. I want to get people who listen to my podcast. I want to get people who are in my community, in our coaching programs. I want our success stories, those amazing ambassadors of our program who are already telling people about word of mouth. I want them to promote us. I want to work affiliate relationships out where I give, a percentage of sales to someone for sending people to a webinar. I love that model. I've never done that model before. And I decided, next year, that's how I want to get discovered. I want people to put me on. One thing I love to do that I didn't get to do this year as much was I love to be a guest on people's podcast. So those are two traffic sources that I'm going to go hard into next year. Affiliate marketing. We have tens of thousands of followers, listeners, subscribers, whatever. I want to build an affiliate army of people who believe in what we're doing at Flip Lifestyle and want to make good money on the side by telling their email list, telling their followers about us, telling their friends about us. And then, we'll pay them to do that. We have good affiliate relationships with people like Kajabi and other people, and I've seen the benefit of this. It's an awesome win-win for everybody. I want to go out on a lot of podcasts next year, right? So that's how I've decided I'm going to get traffic, and if you've got a podcast and you would like to have me on your podcast, reach out to us. Go to fliplifestyle.com/contact us, I think, or go to our website and reach out to us and say, hey, I've got a podcast. Here's how many people listen, and I'd love to have Shane on the show. Maybe you want to be an affiliate for us. Keep an eye on your inbox. We're going to be setting up an amazing ambassador program this year. And we're going to be having lots of opportunities for you to tell people about Flip Lifestyle and make money on the side from that. But you might do something different. You might do something like YouTube. You might decide it's TikTok. You might decide it's Facebook. You might decide it's a blog. You might decide it's guesting on podcasts. You might decide it's speaking. It doesn't matter. Just pick something, decide how you're going to get traffic, and then go try to build that out. Okay. So that's the first question I ask myself is how will we get traffic? How will people find us? The second question I always ask is how are we going to get people who find us, who discover us, our traffic to join our email list? That's it. How do we get them to join our email list? Our email list, when I say email list, it means more now. I actually try to get people's now phone number. I want to get people's home address. We actually do physical mailings now to people. So I want as much contact information as possible. But the most important asset in your business is your list, because you can download that list in a CSV Excel file and take it with you anywhere you go. Software is going to change. Website hosting platforms is going to change. The way we create content. The most popular thing, last year was TikTok. The year before that was Facebook. The year before that was something else. Twitter's hot right now. There's always something, but all those companies will be out of business someday and replaced by something else. But what people will always have is a name, an email, a phone number, and an address to mail stuff to. People have to live in places. They have to use email. They have to have phone numbers. And they have to have names. Okay. They have names. Right. So basically, get contact information from people. So how do we get people to give us contact information? This is a simple thing is what lead magnets are we going to offer? That's it. What lead magnets are we going to offer? How do we give something for free to get people to give us contact? Then we can follow up with them. And we believe the fortune's in the follow-up. So how will I get the traffic to become a part of my list? That's what I want to know. So I have a lot of thoughts on email lists. We got a book now that's coming out. It may be out by the time you hear this. So I got a book that's going to come out. We're going to start giving away that book for free, digitally. We're going to give it away free plus shipping. We're going to have an audiobook version of it. So that's going to be a lead magnet. Okay. We got a great course. If you go to fliplifestyle.com right now, we got great beginner courses like how to find your idea for an online business. That's going to be one of our lead magnets. And then all of a sudden, I've got some other lead magnet ideas that I came up with. But I think about that at the beginning of the year. Next year, these are our 2 or 3 things we're going to focus on to get leads. Will it work? I don't know. We might recalibrate after the first 4 months of the year and look at it and see if it worked and then pivot. But we're going into the year thinking, how will we get traffic? How will people discover us? And how will we get them to join our list? Okay. So that's the first 2 questions I asked. The next question I asked myself is, what is our first offer? I didn't say core offer. What's the first thing we will let people buy? What's the first thing that we will let people say, hey, I'd love to buy that. Maybe it's $50. I'll try it for $50. Like what's the first way we want people to pay us? So one thing that we do at our, when I go speak on a big stage is I'll often do like a live event in the same city. So I'll sell like a seminar, a ticket to the one seat at this event might cost, maybe you get 2 tickets for $50 or something like that. Right. So you can come to the big event and see me speak. And hey, I got another event coming out. So we have a way people can come. And for 2 days, I serve them and give this big experience that they can have, right? For $50. Okay. Or maybe online, we have this product. It's called the Flip Lifestyle Experience, where we have this amazing community and course and training that you can go watch to help you build the basics of your online business. And there's also a community of hundreds of other people in there asking questions and doing things the same. So you get to connect with other people, right? It's called the Flip Lifestyle Experience. Okay. All right. So what is that our first offer? Do we need to change our first offer? Do we need to build something else? Do we have more than one funnel? Right. Maybe I've got a thing where I give my book away for free and then I charge for the audiobook. Okay. But I think about that. I think about, okay, what's the first way we can get people to say, hey, I want to give you money for more information for what you know? That idea you had for an online business, I want to give you money for it. We need people to raise their hand and say, I'm not just on your list, I'm a buyer. So you got to think about your first offer. And here's a hint, guys. Here's a pro tip. If you don't have your online business and you don't have any offers, you need to come up with one offer. It's not just your first offer. You need an offer. I don't care if it's $7. You need some way people can click a button and give you money because you're in business, but you're not a business until you make money. So you need revenue to make money. All right. So that's the third question I ask is what's the first way people can give me money? Then I start thinking like, okay, now that someone's giving me money, simple question. How do I get people to give me more money? Like, how do I serve them? How do I create more value? How do I solve more problems? How do I make them feel like they're ripping me off right? Because I'm giving so much service, so much customer support, so much value that they're like, can I give you more money? I need to pay you for more things. So maybe you can add coaching to a course. Maybe your first offer is a little course. It's $20, $50. Maybe your next offer then is, okay, do you want some coaching? Do you want me to work with you one-on-one to go through that course? That's a simple funnel. You could totally do that, right? So how do I get people to give me more money? Like, that's the goal of business, is to make more income. Okay. So if I have a first offer and they gave me some money, maybe there's another offer where I can provide more time, more service for value, and they'll give me more money. That's the 3 basic questions that plans the entire year. Like, we have a multiple 7-figure business at this point right now. Okay. And those 3 questions are what causes that to happen. That's the first step in building a 7-figure, 6-figure business, is you say, how will people discover the problems that I can solve, the solutions that I sell? How do I get those people to join my email list so I have contacts that I can follow up with? And what's my first offer that I'm going to offer people to find the buyers, find the people willing to get their credit cards out? And then what's the next offer? That's it. That's all you got to ask yourself. And then what we do after we ask ourselves those questions is we go back and we set action goals that lead to the result. In an earlier podcast and an earlier YouTube video that I had, I talked about taking daily action. I talked about those steps for daily action. And I talked about not focusing on the outcome, right? You got to focus on the actions to get it. So then I look back and I say, well, if this is how I'm going to get traffic, what are the daily actions that will let that happen? If I chose, I'm going to be speaking is how I'm going to get people to discover my brand, public speaking. The actions are reach out to 100 live events and see if I can come speak there. And if I can get 15 of them, then I'll win. I'm going to get traffic. Right? The action of it, get people on my list, is offer lead magnets. Okay. I need to make sure that on a daily basis, I'm posting on social media my lead magnet. And that, if I do that 365 days, surely some people opted into my list. I'm focusing on the actions I must take. Post a post about a lead magnet on a social media network or something, right? And then what's the first thing I'm going to sell? Well, if I don't have the thing built to sell, the next thing I need to do is build the thing to sell. Hey, I'm going to sell a 1-hour course on how to do X. Really? Then go record the course, because you can't offer it until it's recorded. Okay. And then what's the next thing I'll sell? How I'm going to offer something else. Okay. So focus on, when you're planning for the year, ask yourself those questions, and then plan daily or weekly or monthly actions that will give you the opportunity for the outcome you want to happen, for those things to happen. If you do that, you're going to go in. And I never set a goal to, we don't really set monetary goals. And some people are going to disagree with me on this, and I don't care about your opinion. This is what I believe. This is what works for me. Take it with a grain of salt, or take it for, a pound of gold, whatever you do. But I don't set goals like, I'm going to make $10,000 this month. That's kind of out of my control. I can't help if people have the money, hear my message, buy the thing. All I can do is best practices that have a chance to lead that goal. Maybe you're a person who's already started an online business and you've done 3 or 4 webinars, and you're like, man, I did 3 or 4 webinars, and each webinar, maybe I made $1,000. That's amazing, right? Well, think about your goal. If you want the outcome to be, I made $10,000 this month, and that you've made $1,000 on a webinar before, so it's clearly possible. Maybe I just need to do 10 webinars this month. Maybe on Thursdays, for the next 5 weeks, I need to do a webinar at 6 a.m. in the morning for the early risers and 9 p.m. at night. And if I just made that one day, that'd be 10 webinars. That'd be a chance to make $10,000. So there you reach your goal. So you always want to put action as your goals, the action taking as your goals. You don't just want to say, my goal is to make $20,000 a month. That's not your goal. Your goal is, that's the outcome, but the outcome is not totally in your control. What actions can lead to that goal? What time commitment do you have to put into those actions so that you can actually do the actions? And then you let the chips fall where they may. And more often than not, in my life, I've found that if I ask simple questions, come up with simple answers, and I take action on a consistent basis, the good things will happen. The good things will happen. Little bonus tip here. On outcomes, we always set good, better, best outcomes. I set a good outcome that's highly likely to happen, a better outcome that I think we can get to, and if we work really hard and take massive action, here's the great outcome. So it's like good, better, best. So you might want to set a goal. If your goal is to make $10,000 a month and you've only ever made $1,000, You might say, well, my good goal would be 1,500. My better goal would be 5,000. And my great goal would be 10,000. So you're still pushing the envelope off what you've done in the past. That's the outcome you're trying to achieve with actions. But now you've got these good, better, best goals, so you can feel good about them. I got that. I don't remember who taught me how to do that. Probably one of my students. I think Nikki Roush of salesmaven.com. Giving you some props today, Nikki. Little mention, little drop of the mic. I always like to give credit where credit's due, and that too. So if you do these things, guys, it'll at least set you up to go out and plan a good new year. And that's what we want. We want you to have a nice plan going into the new year so that you can go out and you can achieve your goals. It's not about us, man. You know, the stories we tell you, it ain't about us. It ain't to brag on us. The stories we tell you about our students, it ain't to show off our community. It ain't just to brag on them. It's not for them to go out and have an ego boost that somebody knows how awesome they are. Everything we do here, every story we tell, every tip we give, every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears is so you can go out and not just set goals, but have a plan to achieve them, to take action and go get them. And you can make these outcomes happen in your life by the actions that you take.